guys coming in, and then progressing with that installation into being able to play after that.
Ramel Dockery was out there, and I know he's now officially joined you guys. What does he bring into the table, and kind of how did he find you guys, or how did you find him, or how that all kind of
Well, we've
together?
known about him forever,
Yeah.
and you know, through the circumstances that he went through, he was able to leave his school and go to junior college, complete the coursework, and then be here for camp, which is great. I know he's a real good athlete, and I think he'll help us.
Like Sean and Storm and Dylan both said that they feel old. It wasn't long that they were the young guys. How do you feel? You're 14?
I feel great. You know, it always feels new to me, which is always refreshing, I think.
Can you talk about injuries and Isaac's situation? How's he doing?
Oh, I think he's doing fine. You know, it's him and Grant Bays are slow entering in. That's too bad, but that's life. And we'll be very careful with both guys and enter them back in when we're able to.
I know during camp, you know, you've got practices, but you mix it up with Jay Losi in the game to keep things interesting. What's on tap for some of those fun things this summer?
Well, they've got it all scheduled out, and we'll start with a speaker tonight and then do some other events as we go.
Mike, when you think back to that first camp, sorry to keep harping on the 14 years, but the difference in your mindset now trying to keep it fresh, and you said you feel great, you still feel young?
Yeah, you know, I think just for us, it's all about, you know, there's two sides to it. One of them is the program side of what we can do to help continue to grow these young men outside the box a little bit, outside of football, and then staying both relevant and on top of all the football that's going on. You know, there's just so much that you have to do, you know, within what we do offensively. We got to get better at, or we got to add something that helps us, you know, like some curve balls that are good. And then defensively, it's a mixed bag that we have to play against. So the versatility has to be developed in camp so you can play. You know, everybody just says, oh, all the spread offenses. Well, every one of those spread offenses they're not all the same offense. You know, everybody has their own flavor. So it's just the diversity of style in college football is at an all-time high. Defensive coordinators have big jobs. So, you know, that's what camp is about, is the overall preparation for your team for all that. So staying relevant and staying on top of all the football that's going on, those are major tasks every year.
When you started your coaching career and started camp back in the 70s, you know, players would get to camp to get into shape, but that's obviously changed a lot nowadays, right?
Has to now. You know, I think that with everything that they can do in the summertime, you know, we all used to go home in the summertime, work a job, and they told us to come back in good shape. You know, that was what happened. But now they stay here, they work out together, they have the weight coaches available to them, the coaches can now supervise it. So it's just about a year-round thing. And the other part of it is you don't do that much in training camp, like maybe as long or as physical as they used to be. So you've got to focus a lot on the detail of the football, and they need to be in shape so we don't have to spend half the time doing wind sprints.
How do you feel about where the offensive line is right now, Mike?
Oh, not that great right now. I still have high hopes that by the time the season gets rolling or shortly into it, that we'll be good up front on the offensive line with solid 5 starters, and then have the best depth we've had in a long time. I mean, this picture can change with the health of Isaac and Grant Bays and everybody else staying healthy and progressing as players. This could be a good picture. It's just average right now. I mean, it is. So we've got a lot of work to do if this is the way it's going to be.
How important is the establishment of a run game?
I think it's the difference maker. It was a difference maker from us being much better a year ago, playing better against the real good defenses in the league. You know, it was all fine and good when we were playing against teams that weren't as good defensively, but we ran into the top 3 defenses in the league 3 weeks in a row, and then, you know, then you're trying to pass block all the time against those real good pass rushers from SC and Arizona State. Those guys are special, and you don't have any run game to keep them at bay, and then life gets very, very difficult.
Like, there's not much turnover on your staff from year to year, but now that you have 6 months with Jared, how's that transition been like?
It's good. You know, he's a very good guy, very bright person. Going to be a big addition to our staff.
Coach, how do you feel about just getting to a solid start at
Well, that's a great question. That's what we need to do. We need to win our first game, and that's our goal right now. That's what we want to focus on and be ready for, and I really want to get our team both prepared and fresh to that first game. So, we've talked a lot about how best to get there, but that's our goal.
When we look at this offense overall, you talk about the offensive line and the receivers and some things that you need to see guys step up there. Do you have target points of hopefully we'll have it identified by here, hopefully we'll have it identified by here? Can you even think like that?
Well, I think but I don't know that I can right now today. I have a sense of who might surface just from spring ball and a little bit I saw in the off season. So, I think though that the first couple weeks of camp, things should clarify themselves pretty well. We'll have a good idea about the freshmen that are going to play, and we'll probably have a good idea who's surfacing at receiver to really focus on.
Coach, something Storm will get asked is how he's doing without his best friend, Brandon. He said he's doing well. Dylan said that it's a good thing not just for Storm, but everybody to see a guy like Brandon, work ethic that you talked about, everybody talked about quite a bit, see him get to that next level. Do you think it'd be a good thing for the team that, in a way, I know you'd much rather have his 130 catches, but that he's not here, just in terms of...
Well, I think that you if you're smart as a coach, as a player, you should learn from people that have success. And if our players have paid attention, which we have a lot of really good guys and they get it, they will notice that you've got a real talented player in Brandon Cooks. You've got a person of tremendously high character, basically never got in any one day of trouble the whole time he was here. He was always making good choices, and he had I don't know if you can say this or not, maybe the best work ethic on the team. Well, that is that's a recipe that is built for success. That's going to work. It's going to work. And if they notice is that whatever talent level a person has, and they have good character, taking good care of themselves, making good choices, being a good teammate, and they work real hard, it's going to be all right. And Brandon, but I've got a whole string. Brandon's a real good example, but I go back 10 years in this program and talk about people like James Rogers and that. But it's really those guys that are willing to pay attention to people that are doing well have to understand this is not an accident. It's happening because of a reason.
What do you think about he's still in the headlines in the NFL, Cookie down at
Well, I got a message from the GM the other day. I'm not surprised, but he's a real good player, and I think the other thing is he's gone to a place that has their team pretty well set. So when they drafted him, I'm sure they had a really good plan for why they were drafting him, and now they're seeing it come to what do you say, fruition? Yeah.
When you look at the offensive line after the injuries during the spring, but built some depth there, and Josh Mitchell's back out there today, does it already look better, even though Isaac's not back in the picture quite yet?
It looks okay. I'm not ready to. We've got to get the whole thing put together and practice for a bit, and hopefully get Isaac and Grant Bayes back full speed, and then we got a chance to really be able to say how it looks. Right now, I don't know. So, but we're in shorts and we're not doing anything. So we're not getting sacked.
First season of the playoff, does that fix college football's problem in your mind?
Oh, for sure. We'll never talk about it again. It's all I think the beauty of it is it's exciting, it's fun, and it's also going to change. So we just have to know all that. So, but it's something to talk about. We've been talking about it since I can remember, 1965, right? So.